back at it again with the Krispy Kreme. We got the fucking 49ers. Yeah, we're just starting this off with the wrestling. Because let me tell you, they're doing a lot of fighting. Because fucking hell. Yeah, it's kind of. I just. Okay. The 49ers, I'm not going to say they're an interesting team because I think I did that both for the Cardinals and the Rams. So, they're all really. I want to say interesting. They're in a peculiar situation. Um, they're hurt a lot. They literally said, "Hey, this is kind of weird how this keeps happening." So they literally did an investigation on a power plant that's right next to them. So, I mean, we'll see if that actually leads to anything. Currently, it hasn't really done a whole lot, but yeah, basically, when you think of the 49ers, you think of injuries mostly. Like last year, they were actually pretty impressive considering they had so many injuries. So they won like I think 11-6 or 12-5. Either way, they had a double-digit win season, so that's still impressive considering they didn't have Nick Bosa or Fred Warner, which is they didn't have anybody at edge rusher this year. Yeah, which they tried to change with their free agent moves. I know, shocker. You came to this video hopefully for this and not just I don't even fucking know. If you just felt bad. Um, yeah, Raheem Morris is an interesting like signing because Robert Saleh is a Titan now, so he was really good as a defensive coordinator, and I don't know if Raheem Morris is gonna fill the shoes exactly the way you want to, but I mean, shit, the Falcons' defense wasn't too bad last year. I don't know if it was because of this fucker, but hey, not the worst ending in the world. Could have been a lot worse. I think I recently had what's his name? I had Matt Eberflus as like an assistant defense coordinator, I believe. But considering how he did for the Cowboys, I think we should just not acknowledge that. Just I would rather give this guy the defensive play calling, other than yeah. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it doesn't bite them back in the ass. Yeah, this is definitely my honestly favorite move by the 49ers. I've noticed that I've been talking too much about the other side because when I did the Rams, I just talked about the Chiefs mainly. So I'm going to focus on just the 49ers and I'll talk about the Cowboys like side of things when we get there because I think the 49ers need a defensive tackle. I think this fills a void that they've been needing. Alfred Collins got significant playing time, which I liked him as a prospect, but he shouldn't have started so many games because he's still a rookie and he still needs to figure some shit out, but it is what it is. This helps a lot. I was very surprised that they actually traded him because the fucking Cowboys they wanted to stop the run game and that's why they traded Micah Parsons because he didn't do that well enough, I guess. Um, but yeah, I think Osa Adiga's shit. They brought this guy in, and he is really good for a defensive tackle. This was my favorite move because you only give him a third round pick for him. That's fucking cheap as shit. Consider like I thought it was like worth a second, or maybe if you really wanted to try and get a first for him, you could have. But I think a second round pick would have been a really good comp for him. But you will take a third round pick. But you are not. You are easily not getting Osa Digizua in the third round. So very good trade for the 49ers. And this was the most shocking move, probably at free agency for me, like just in general, maybe because he actually left Tampa Bay. Mike Evans actually left Tampa Bay to play for the 49ers. I didn't know they really like. Apparently, he really wanted to leave, which I don't know why, but I guess I mean you really are sick of Todd Bowles that much if you really don't want to play for him that badly. But yeah, I think this is a really dangerous move for the league because the last time Kyle Shanahan got a big-bodied receiver. I'm not the first person to say this, but Julio Jones. I don't like. I might be quoting someone else, but still, this is a really good move. I mean, the only concern I have is that he's a 49er now, and he's had back-to-back injury-riddled seasons. So we'll see how that goes. I think he might have some gas left in the tank. I think it's a little overrated, but still a really good move because they fucking needed receiver after Jawan Jennings maybe left. We'll get back to that later, but not the worst. And they also just made sure they got depth as well. Hell, not even depth. Probably a receiver like 2 or 3 if Ricky Pierce doesn't stay healthy. But Christian Kirk's a nice addition. He feels like a 49er, like very much so. But yeah, Christian Kirk was brought in. I like this move. I like this move a lot actually because $3 million for Christian Kirk is, hey, he still has some gas left in the tank. Like he did pretty well for the fucking Texans because some players didn't set up. Jaden Higgins. So if you know, you know. This man has stepped up when they need him to. Okay. Verdanian Low. I think I actually said that right the first time. Maybe I don't know. Okay, this brings me to an extra interesting point because apparently they're thinking about trading Trent Williams. Why? I don't know if Verdanian Low is a left or right tackle, but I do know that he's not. I do know he's not the best option for like the starter. So I mean, if either of these guys are gonna play blindside tackle instead of Trent Williams, I think this will be a really bad move. Then, for now, I think it's decent depth with a chance to start, which is always nice. But if he's trying to, if Kyle Shanahan's trying to replace Trent Williams, then this is gonna be one of my least favorite moves because you shouldn't trade Trent Williams. It'd be really fucking stupid because your tackle situation's already horrible. So why the fuck would you want to make it worse? I don't know. I don't know. Logic's out the window, I guess. Oh yeah. Patrick Taylor. I only pointed this out because he was a Packer. He's there. And yeah, Eddie Pinheiro was paid. This makes a lot of sense because they can't deal with another Jake Moody situation. They might as well just make sure that, hey, we're sick of having a shitty kicker. We're gonna bring Eddie Pinheiro in. He had a really good season last year, so we're bringing him in, making sure we can actually kick some extra points and field goals. That special teams is becoming more relevant. They're on top of that. They also brought in one of my Jay Tongs had a really underrated year last year because George Kittle was out. This man, he wasn't like a star, but he was serviceable. Hell, he was okay. Like he was not bad. Like as a decent backup tight end, I'm happy with this move for the 49ers. Like shit, I would have been happy if he signed somewhere else. I don't really like the 49ers. Get him on a team I actually like. But yeah. Losses, fuck, what did they lose? I guess we'll find out right now. Okay, they didn't really lose. They didn't really lose. Yeah, they didn't really lose a lot. If this is my biggest loss, I think losing Kendrick Bourne kind of sucks because I mean, shit, you could have used him as another receiver to add to because you don't receiver is interesting for them because you could not deal with Brandon Ayuk. I don't even know if I put him in the slideshow, but you cannot deal with Brandon Ayuk again. He's a fucking bitch, and he needs to go, and he did. So yeah, he needs to go. He already did, dipshit. But yeah, I think Kendrick Bourne is a decent option for the Cardinals. I probably already addressed this, but yeah, I think this is a decent loss for the 49ers. They could have used more receiver of his caliber, but it is what it is. You ain't going to cry over this, I hope. Jason Pinnock back to the Giants. This isn't. I mean, at the worst, he's a good backup safety, but he's a pretty decent starter, I guess. I mean, you lost Talanoa Hufunga last year, so you need to figure out safety. If you're just gonna let every single one go, that's actually worth a damn. So Yeah, I don't know, just a decent loss. And yeah, you lost Brian Robinson Jr. as well. I don't really know how I feel about this really because as a commander, he was pretty decent. I wasn't too impressed with him last year, but to be fair, Christian McCaffrey actually stayed healthy, so I thought this would have been a I thought this was a good move by the 49ers when it initially happened, but somehow Christian McCaffrey stayed healthy. But it's $10, he's gonna get Isaiah Guanindo is gonna get a lot of playing time next year. Probably gonna happen because 49ers are unlucky as shit. Sky Moore, he's a special teams player. You don't really need to. Yeah, if he's on the field for offensive snaps, then you will regret it. But as a special teams player, he's not awful. Spencer, I was shocked that I actually said it right the first time. So, Spencer Burford. God, I really am bad at saying last names. Jesus. Um, Spencer Burford is a Raider. He's not the best guard in the world, but he's serviceable. So I guess they lost a little bit of that. And yeah, Juwan Jennings apparently is outbidding himself. Like he has a high asking price apparently, and the 49ers are probably not going to sign him back. But if they don't, which they probably won't, it's still a decent loss. I feel like he had that one good season where he almost had 1,000 yards, but he's just a decent receiver. I think he might be a little overrated and will definitely be overpaid. But yeah, I think Juwan Jennings was a smart move to not resign, but still is a loss. Yeah, so it's an interesting move, like situation they're in now because they made the Super Bowl 3 years ago, I think. Jesus, um yeah, this was 3 years ago. Fucking hell, I'm getting old. Um, I feel like they're on the verge of like if they're completely healthy, they are a Super Bowl caliber team because they have Nick Bosa, they have Fred Warner, Christian McCaffrey is probably the best like talent running back in the league when healthy. But literally every single player on their team is always ending with if healthy because nobody is healthy and everybody's getting old. Like just a lot of shit. Receiver is a revolving door. The O line is getting worse, and if Trent Williams gets traded, then I really do not have Super Bowl aspirations for the 49ers. But as is, I think they can make it far in the playoffs, but considering that division is a bloodhouse with the Super Bowl champion Seahawks and the the Rams, which the MVP led Rams, it's not pretty for the 49ers in that division alone. You still have major competition in other divisions. So I think they need to figure some shit out a little bit. The draft will be very telling to see what happens to them in the playoffs, but all in all, I think if they play the right teams in the playoffs, they play their like they do enough. If they do enough, play games well, which they can do, and if they get that electrical whatever figured out and stay healthy, they can win a Super Bowl. But it is just a big if. It's basically the Justin Herbert team, I guess. Jim Harbaugh doesn't leave shit. He left his legacy of if. I don't know. It's just kind of ironic because Jim Harbaugh was the 49ers. Yeah. Oh no. 49ers. It's always the same story every year. Stay healthy, they can win a Super Bowl. And also Brock Purdy will leave. Blah, blah, blah.